Laura, alcoholic. Now you guys know you can't say no to Nancy. That's what I get for coming in half hour early every Tuesday. Okay. Um, wow. I've been to a lot of these and I should be able to know what it's about, but I think it's all the same for everybody. My story is a little different. Um, I was born February 29, 1968. So do the math, you guys know how old I am now. But I'm born leap year. If anybody knows what the 29th is, every 4 years. So I always thought being born on a day that nobody, even now, doesn't know what leap year is, um, we're very rare species. At least I am. They say that we're special, that a lot of things, good luck and all that. Well, that's not me. Um, I am I am the third child of 8 children. Both of my parents are from Mexico. I was born in East LA, yeah, just like the song. I grew up in East LA until I was 9, and then we moved to Linwood, which is, by Compton. I'm pretty sure everybody knows where that is. And then after high school, I graduated, was going to attend college, but things happened along the way. Just literally 3 or 4 months after I graduated high school, I moved in with my father. My parents were divorced at the time, and I was offered a job at a dealership. So 18 years old, just graduated, my first job ever at a Volvo dealership in Santa Monica. So that's a good job. Uh, and it went on for 38 years. Right out of high school, 1987, all the way to 2013. When I had to quit. Being that I was in my career, I love this job. I still love it. I love that job. Anybody who knows me would tell you that I would never leave. But my daughter at 16 was diagnosed with a rare illness. It's not really rare, but it's juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. It's not arthritis. It's rheumatoid. It's very different. She was it was a rare condition because she had it all over her body, not only certain, joints. She had to go to the children's hospital 4 days a week. Both my husband at the time and I worked full time, and I had another son. Well, I had a son, my baby, and it was hard. But it wasn't hard to make that decision when I told my bosses that I needed to take some time. I told them about my daughter being there 8 years at an Audi dealership, being a certified warranty administrator for Audi of America. I went from a file clerk to cashier to parts cashier to finance office, um, to payroll. I was an office manager, and I worked for Audi of America. And my career was going to be to work for the corporate and move to Michigan. That was one thing that I was planning on doing, but they wouldn't give me the time off. They wouldn't give me no disability. So it wasn't very hard when I just quit on the spot. And I had to say I had to do this for my daughter because she came first. And so doing all that, I never regretted it. My daughter now is 27. She's living with this condition. She knows this condition. She still has to be in treatment. She's still, for the rest of her life, if there's no cure. And she's happy. She graduated a medical assistant. My son is a third-year certified CrossFit trainer, 6'1", and he'll be 25 in a couple weeks. And this is why I never regret the decisions I made, was because of my children. And when I started drinking, it was fun. It was a thing that we all did after work, on the weekends, happy hour, every day for, I want to say, a good 10 to 15 years. Um, it was a social life drinking that I did. I was married. I had two wonderful children. Prior to that, I was married before I met my second husband, and when I had my children, life wasn't always easy for me. My first husband abused me a month after we were married. You know, being together 13 months before we got married, never showed any sign until a month after we were married, and it lasted 3 months. So once I had him arrested, had me in the hospital with broken ribs, a burn on my back because he threw a boiling pot of hot water. I was in the emergency room, and the nurses just told me, because I've been there before, and you know our story. I fell, I tripped in the kitchen. So this time the nurse says, please don't tell me you fell again because I'm not going to fall at this time. So she called the cops. I wasn't speaking to my father at the time because he didn't want anything to do with me because I always chose him. We'll go back to him. And until all of that, I left him, never looked back, never saw him again. Until now, I'm talking about him, so I'm thinking about he is not in my life anymore. And that was a big decision that I had to make. And then once I found the courage to start dating again, I met the father of my kids. We got married. We were married 14 years. So life happened. We got divorced. I was still working. You know, I worked full time and took care of my kids. I was the mom who took kids, you know, who carpooled, soccer, was in the PTA, was in all of these and working. I always was one that worked since I was 14. I would say that I had a job. And so now I got divorced. A lot of things happened, still going out just socially drinking, had a lot of medical problems. Um, I had emergency hysterectomy. I had tumors in my right ovary. I had a whole bunch of surgeries and a lot of things that for me to overcome, that I overcame cancer 5.5 years ago in my stomach. A year before that, I had a heart attack. So a lot of things went in my life that I had to go through and I had to fight for, and I'm here. For 2 years, for the past 2.5 years, I want to say since 2020, my mother passed uh, with cancer. She had the same cancer that I did, but she had it 4 or 5 years after I did. And um, I don't want to say that it was hard for me hard because I lost her. It was hard because we didn't speak for 12 years before that. Our relationship was very rocky since I was 14. A lot of things happened. Then I left, and we never had a mother and daughter relationship. And she hurt me a lot. And for that, when she passed, I never got an apology. I never got closure. I was always hoping, you know, one day we could talk. Now I'm an adult. I'm a mother myself. Things could go better. And I tried it and nothing. She denied it. She didn't want to work anything out. So there I go. And then she goes and then she dies. And I didn't know how to feel. I still didn't get my closure. I don't know why I started doing the things that I was doing after that. Um, when I started drinking more and more, I started isolating myself. I wasn't at a job that I liked. Um, I wasn't in the place where I wanted to be. I wasn't in the relationship where I wanted to be. It was a lot of things going on. And for the past, I want to say June of 2021 all the way to this year, January 13th, which is my sobriety date. I'm 6 months sober. I was in this relationship. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy where I was. So everything in the book that you could, name. I drank at work, on my way to work, before work. I would put an alarm at 5 in the morning so I could get up before anybody got up so I could be at the liquor store at 6 in the morning when it opened. It was just something that it was just automatic for me for a long time. And I never thought of any consequences. I always knew that I was risking it. I always was afraid that I would get pulled over. I would get a DUI. I never did, would. And I was afraid of hurting anybody or myself. My children, them being adults and them knowing what mom went through and they didn't know how bad it was. They knew that I drank. They knew I liked to drink. They would bring me, bottles. But they didn't know to the extent when I would literally isolate myself in my room in the dark. I know I wouldn't eat. It was night and day, trying to overcome the shakiness, sweats, not sleeping. I drank to the point where I didn't think I never blacked out. I knew exactly what I was doing. Some people call that um, functioning alcoholic or drinker. But of course, you would say, yeah, I got this. I won't get caught. Until when it came to a point where I just couldn't stand the feeling of waking up lonely, of waking up angry, of waking up shaking and not being able to. I would literally would would shake to the point that I would have to go in the shower with cold water just to let it go away because that's the only way it would stop. And I had to do that every day for a long time until when it hit me. I moved out of where I was 2 days. That's all it took for me to be homeless. 2 days living in my car and have to go from street to street. And so I couldn't do it. I was afraid that I was going to get pulled over, that I was going to get caught. I was drinking. I had just bought a big bottle of vodka and I just didn't know what to do. So I called my kids. Um, and that's when I told them that this happened and this is happening and I need help, and I just can't go on. And my daughter said, Mom, where are you? Tell me exactly what street you're in. I'm gonna go and pick you up. And I told her, no, I'll drive to your house. I'm real close. I got lost because I never went to her house. And so once I told them, I didn't feel any better. I just knew that, my kids were on the phone trying to call places that they could take me and they couldn't take me until the day after. So this was on the 12th of January. So my daughter finally got a call in this place in Los Angeles called ACW. I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with that. But they said, yeah, come in. I talked to them at 6 in the morning on the 13th of January, which is Friday the 13th. And I went in with my daughter. She dropped me off. My son on the phone was saying, Mom, don't worry, we're going to support you. He was they never said, I told you so. They never like, why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you come to us? Nothing. It was just, I'm glad that you are doing this. We just want you to be good. My health was going, my liver was shot, and everything was bad. I had every health problem in the book. And once I did that, when my daughter dropped me off, we didn't speak the whole way over there because she saw I was shaking. And she would tell me, drink water, drink this, drink that. And I go, it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's not. It's just, I know how to handle it. I know how to deal with it. So once I got there, very scared, it was in a very sketchy neighborhood. It was on Alvarado Street over there by MacArthur Park, like LA, you know, close to Skid Row, I would think. And just the things that I saw, just, around the corner. And my daughter dropped me off. And when she dropped me off, how many minutes I have? 1 minute. 1 minute? Okay. Well, anyway, the day that she dropped me off, they do the intake like a lot of people would know. They have you, and I know that everybody has a story with Nancy. I have a story of one person who came to me first, and she was my counselor the whole time that I was there. She knew exactly what I was doing. But so when they told me to start my application. This is an application. You think that you're buying 10 million houses. You fill out a lot of paperwork. And I couldn't. I was shaking. And my daughter wanted to help me. And they told her, no, she needs to do it. You have to leave. When they told her to leave, I just saw the look on my daughter's face, and she started crying, and she goes, I'm sorry, Mom, I have to go. I go, no, I'm sorry. It's just, I'll call you. Or so a lot of things were going through my head, and I never want to go through that ever again. And one thing this past week, on my 6th month, I spoke to somebody who told me, I'm going to give you a gift. And this is a gift that you're going to love and you're going to enjoy. And I'm like, shoot, I get a gift for being 6 months sober? And she says, I want you to tell everybody the first day that you surrendered and when you started treatment, how did you feel? So I told them the story. She said, you hold on to that story. That's your gift, to think how you felt at the moment, at the time, and know that you're never going to do it again. That's right. Mm-hmm. You're never going to pick up a bottle. You're never going to go to the liquor store at 6 a.m. That is going to make you not do it. And it does. Just seeing my daughter's face and her walking away so scared that I would never want to have anybody go through that, especially her or my son. That's why I'm very now when they tell me, Mom, I quit drinking a little bit. I don't drink as much anymore. They're adults, they could do what they want, but I love that they consider, and it's just me not telling them, don't do it. Just, look where I ended up and look what I'm doing now. And I just appreciate this program. I appreciate AA. I appreciate Fred Brown. When they were telling me that I had to hurry up and pick a sober living, and I was like, I looked through all of it, House of Hope, Shaw House, A New Way of Living, all of those. And Fred Brown, I'm sorry, it was my last resort on my list. A couple girls already were there. So I just appreciate everything that I had accomplished here, and I love this program. And I know that everybody says, we love this program. We're going to, no. It is one day at a time. Don't ever stop working the steps. Get a sponsor. Thank you so much.